This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Welcome inside the RebZone. Kevin Bollinger alongside Running Rebels head coach Marvin Menzies. Our final RebZone of the season. We have reached March. It is tournament time, and UNLV finishes with 11 conference wins. That's the most since 2011, Lon Kruger's last year. You sweep 5 different teams in the conference schedule and end up tied for 4th. So you talk about building blocks. It seems to be, upward trajectory.
It's heading in the right direction. We're making some progress. Still, always want a little bit more, right? You always want to finish strong. You always want to get that extra game in. And so right now, that's kind of our mantra. You just want to get one more, and then after you get it, you just want to get one more, and then after you get it, you just want to get one more. And we'll keep that mindset until it's all said and done.
I mean, March always kind of brings out that kind of special feeling for basketball fans, and I'm sure for coaches and players too. Is just something different about the feel?
Well, it's the pinnacle of our profession. For college coaches, this is and not just college coaches, but this is the best time of year for real college basketball fans. The end of February, March starts, and then the craziness becomes involved when it's one and done time. So yeah, it's just a fun time of year to watch all the different games and friends and players and so forth.
Well, we're going to break down the conference tournament and UNLV's matchup with San Diego State a little later in the show. First, though, we want to get to the final game in the Mountain West season for the Runnin' Rebels. They had only one game this week. It was on Saturday. Final roadie of the season with a win at Colorado State.
And the flashing Ram greeted the Runnin' Rebels as UNLV spoiled senior night with a fast start. Off the opening tip, Noah Robotham drains a long straightaway 3. Mbake Jong knocked down a baseline jumper. Chris Clyburn connects on a triple, and Robotham hit a long jumper as the Rebs made their first 4 field goal attempts. Colorado State's Nico Carvacho did his thing for the Rams as CSU stayed in it. But UNLV answered. Amari Hardy with the hesitation move and drive to the rim for 2. Then Clyburn popped another 3. Jong creates space underneath for the lay-in. The Rebels stayed hot. Robotham with a step-back jumper. Clyburn followed with a 2 of his own, and Bryce Hamilton got in on the action with a long deuce. Then Clyburn drained a corner 3. Hardy drove the lane for the bucket. And the first half exclamation point courtesy of Jonathan Chamwa-Chachua with the emphatic 2-handed slam. UNLV shot 57% from the floor and 45% from three-point range, and they led 39-26 at the half. In the second half, Clyburn picked up right where he left off with another 3. Then JTT works inside and gets the roll. But the shooting went cold, and Colorado State climbed back in. Adam Thistlewood with the pump fake and baseline drive for the dunk. J.D. Page gets the offensive rebound, put back in the pass, and Carvacho gets the feed inside for the flush to cut the Rebel lead to 6 with just 6:15 to go. Clyburn answers with a deep 3, and then Robotham with a half-court alley-oop to Jong. The Rams wouldn't go away, and they took their first lead of the game on this 3 by Thistlewood with 2:14 left. UNLV turns to Clyburn, and the senior delivers with a clutch corner triple to regain the lead. Then Robotham with another lob to Jong with a minute to go. The Rebels get free throws down the stretch to seal up their 5th sweep of a season series in the conference. Clyburn finishes with 20, including 6 of 6 from outside the arc, as UNLV wins it on the road, 65-60.
It's one of those big-time wins we needed on the road. 5-4 in a row throughout the whole conference. It's just a staple on our season.
Anytime you reach a milestone, it's an accomplishment, and you should be proud of yourself, and especially with a group of young guys all bought in. And for myself and Chris to lead a team to 11 wins, it's a pretty cool feat.
Let's start at the beginning of this one because it was lights out shooting for UNLV, and the offense created a lot of open looks early on.
It did. We had been preaching and harping on making the extra pass and playing for others, but taking shots when you have them. So sometimes that could be off of one pass, it could be off of I think Noah hit his first three just off the tip. We came down, we had a set call, but you know, if you're open and it was in a good position and you're a shooter, you got to shoot it. This is the time of year when confidence is so important, and freedom to play offensively is really, really a key factor in being successful this time of year. So it was good to see us playing free, shooting the ball with confidence. We hit a stretch there, but in the second half, but I thought that they just plowed right through it and kept playing, and then went to relying on your defense. And you get that clicking and you're playing with confidence, and usually you end up with a positive verdict.
Now, speaking about the defense on Nico Carvacho, who is second in the country in double-doubles this season. He still got his double-double, but he was not as impactful as he normally is in a game. The defense kind of took him out of it.
We did some good things. I thought that we executed a scouting report that was just effective against him. Again, only on the scoring side. I mean, he absolutely clobbered us on the glass like he normally does. He was the best rebounder in the country, and so he's going to get his. We didn't want him to get as many as he did, but you know, he's just an upper echelon player. Those certain guys you just got to contain. They're going to get theirs. You know, they're going to play you know, good basketball, and you just got to try to contain them. He's one of those guys.
Chris Clyburn, it was almost a perfect wrap-up for his last regular season game. 6 of 6 from three-point range. His progression from when he walked on campus as your first recruit to where he is right now has been phenomenal.
Well, you know, Chris has had his ups and downs, like in every profession in life, right? I mean, the journey is hills and valleys, and you know, it's just about staying positive. It's just about having a faith in your hard work and faith in the energy that you put into your craft, and then you let the chips fall where they may. And so I'm really, really happy for Chris that he ended up with 6 for 6. I think it's the most three-pointers made in a game without a miss. I know there's people that have had higher three-pointers, but without a miss, I think he set a UNLV record. So it was really a nice little, you know, cherry on the top of the cake.
You had an 18-point lead. Colorado State took the lead with 2:15 left, and then UNLV went on a 9-0 run. 2 questions. A, what does that say about the mentality of this team to be able to respond like that? And also, do you think that this team could have responded like that 3 months ago?
I don't think so. To be honest, I don't think they could have bounced back like that. You know, they're getting on each other now. They're getting on each other, but for the right way, and they're getting on each other for the right reasons. Like, you know, there was some adversity that they dealt with internally, just because they all want to win and they want things done the right way. There's no more time for. Noah said it best. He said at the end of one of our practices, he said, "This is not the time of the year for my bad. We have no more room for my bad. It's production, it's results, it's attention to detail, and it's get it done time." And that's where we're at. And I felt that from the players. I felt that they were not at a place to have, you know, excuses or, you know, next possession mentality. It was, you need to take care of your business right here and now.
So you end the season with 2 wins in a row. You had the grind out overtime win against Boise, and then the 9-0 run to finish off Colorado State.
Right.
What does that do for the mentality going into the Mountain West tournament? Because most of those games are going to be tight grind out games in the end.
Well, you know, on paper, right, looks pretty good, right? It looks like, well, okay, you couldn't really script it better. But blowout, I don't know if that helps you, to be quite honest. It helps you feel good in that moment, but did it really prepare a young team to have to deal with some challenges, to have to deal with some adversity on the court of a team plowing back at us like Colorado State did on senior night at their place? But getting the win and having the feel good and the confidence to know that you can deal with a tight game, I think that's probably a little bit more valuable.
Well, let's talk about the conference tournament. We're going to do so after the break. It all comes down to March. That means the Mountain West tournament, the season opening matchups are set. We're breaking down UNLV's opener against San Diego State and also where the recruiting focus will be in this offseason. It's all on the backside of the break. Stick and stay.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
The bracket for the Mountain West Tournament is set. The play-in games begin on Wednesday at 11 a.m. The Runnin' Rebels open play on Thursday at 2:30 in the afternoon against San Diego State, and the winner of that game likely gets top seed Reno on Friday night at 6. So let's talk a little about San Diego State. Tough game down in San Diego, but a nail-biter game at the Thomas and Mack. Let's focus on Jalen McDaniels for a moment, because he kind of is their guy that is tough to match up with because of his length, but you guys did a good job against him in the second half of the game at the Thomas and Mack.
We did a better job, but he's an NBA guy, in my opinion. I think he's definitely going to make a team, and he'll have a long, professional career, I believe. He's one of those guys that can have a bad game and still get 15 points on you. He's very good one-on-one player. He's, for his size, he's 6'10", I think, and he can shoot the ball. He's crafty with his skill set. He does a lot of challenging things to guard in terms of matchups. So, but then Watson is no joke either. He can shoot the ball deep and is very crafty from the point guard position. And Matt Mitchell's playing really good basketball right now too. So, and they've got a host of other pieces with Shackle and just a Rupp, and they just got a bunch of guys that kind of play their roles. So they're a tough out.
When you play San Diego State, guard play is so important because they do have guys that are going to kind of get up in your grill a little bit. They got to handle the ball and not turn it over, but at the same time, you still need scoring production out of your guards. Yeah,
and you look at their, I was remiss to not mention Hemsley as well. Who's a senior that's playing great basketball right now. But just looking at scoring on them is just a challenge in itself because they're so phenomenal in stabbing at the ball, and their position defense is great. Now they're mixing in some zone, and so they give you different looks to kind of keep you off balance. Their length and their athleticism and their ability to play the ball, but yet still see their man is high level.
I know that you don't like to look ahead, but a 3 games in 3 night scenario, you still have to kind of lay it all out in the line.
Oh, no question.
For that game. There's no saving minutes anywhere in there.
No, there's not. You play each game to win that game, but obviously you have some staff that's working on the next potential opponent. So we'll have someone that's locked in to both teams that will be playing on the game before. So I know it'll either be Reno or I think it's Boise State is playing Colorado State. So there's going to be one of those 2 teams that will be focused in to make sure that we have all our ducks in a row for that game as well. But as far as playing time and scouting report and information disseminated to the players, that's all San Diego State right now.
In terms of prepping for this, for these guys mentally, because it isn't just another game in terms of on the schedule, and the players know that. So how do you make sure that they're in the right frame of mind going into this, that they don't get too amped up with the moment and can play free, but also know the importance of going for it?
It's what you tell them. It's what you've been preaching. It's not, there's not any private conversations that are going to make one guy just really get locked in. You're going to have one-on-ones with the guys, but there's no secret elixir or anything like that. It's just a matter of relying on your core values, your core principles, your standards of how you operate all season long, the things that we've indoctrinated into them, to this is how you handle your business to get the results that you want. So it's really nothing other than relying on who you are, who the character of your team is. And then you go out and you do play free because you have trust and you have confidence. And then hopefully that consistency can carry over from one game to the next, and then that's how you win a Mountain West Conference championship.
I want to talk for a moment about recruiting. It's always an ongoing process, obviously. Where is the main focus for you and your staff in terms of replacing the parts at UNLV this offseason?
It's interesting. When we took over the job, we talked about, obviously, recruiting was a huge proponent of what we needed to do to get UNLV basketball back to its winning ways and then consistently be there. So layering your classes is something that we talked about. Layering your classes in the way of making sure that you have not just getting old, but getting old and talented and staying old and talented. And so we're looking at a lot of young guys right now that we're building relationships with. We've built relationships with since we've been here. We're trying to get early commitments. We're working on younger guys all the way down to 9th, 10th graders that watch how we operate, and we develop relationships with them and to put ourselves in a position to just have a strong connection and hopefully get some things done to keep this train moving in the right direction.
All right, we're going to keep an eye on that as well. We're going to have Coach Menzies back a little later in the show. Up next, though, we are sitting down with UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez. Spring practice has been underway for 2 weeks. We're going to talk a little bit about what the focus is this spring and where the team stands right now. That's next as the RebZone rolls on.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willie. Your home, your way.
Welcome back inside the RebZone. We're joined now by UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez as spring practice is in full gear. Great to get back on the football field.
Absolutely. We just walked up here from practice number 4, so it's good to be on the field with the guys, and they look good out there, and got a lot of work to do, but I tell you what, we're excited about it.
When you go into a spring schedule, what's the main thing that you're looking to get accomplished?
Well, it starts with the installation, offense, defense, special teams, and then you want to make sure you're doing a really good job with some of those guys that redshirt or some of your 2s and 3s that are now having good off seasons that you think can fight for those 1 or 2 roles, and making sure that they, get the knowledge they need to go with the physicality so they can be contributors, and that's what we've seen so far. You have a lot of new faces on the defensive side of the ball, and a lot of your guys that you brought in that are here in the spring that weren't here in the fall. So this is an important time as well for them. It really is, especially with some of those JUCO guys that are coming in, high school kids that we brought in. There's a lot of guys that graduated earlier and came on in. So that's really good to see. Again, it's added a lot of competitive depth. We're in the high 90s in our numbers, which is the most amount of guys we've ever had out there for spring football. So it's good, and it's lending itself to 4 really good practices. Will you get a good enough feel by the end of spring as to where this team is as you get ready to go into fall camp? I think so, just because the maturity, the game experience we have 10 offensive linemen out there that have started a game. You got Armani, who's had a ton of starts under his belt, and his backup Max has starts under his belt, and wideouts like Woodsy and Presley have been around for a long time. So it's an older veteran group on the offensive side of the ball, and then even defensively, guys like Javen White and Gabe McCoy, they've been around here for a long time. Jericho Flowers, and so you have some really good senior leadership, and we knew going into spring that if we just sharpened our sword a little bit, we had a chance to have a really good team. Because you have so many guys coming back on the offensive side of the ball and are healthy right now, are you able to maybe put in some new stuff and open things up here in the spring that you can maybe utilize in the fall? Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, every year you're going to tweak things here and there. Guys like Tyleik Collins, how are you going to get him the ball more in space? Obviously Armani, we know what he can do running the ball, but we don't want him to be so run heavy, right? So there's a lot of little wrinkles that we're adding on, and even defensively, it's year 2 with Skip being here. He's adding a little bit more in. We've kind of recruited to his style the last couple of years, changed things up a tad, a little bit, and I think it's going to make us a lot better. But we've already seen a higher level of competitiveness out there. The Fertitta complex looks fantastic. If you haven't been on campus and seen it, it's really coming along fast. Where are we at in terms of getting this thing open to where you guys can start using it? Well, like we've always said, the latter part of the spring, early summer. I mean, obviously construction, you're never sure exactly when that end date is, but it's coming. I mean, you walk out there and you see it. I've walked through it, once a week, and it's unbelievable how much progress they've made, and it's an absolutely beautiful facility, game changer for us. And spring game is coming up soon, open to the public that they can come out and check out their Rebels. Yeah, April 6th, just like we normally do. I believe we're going to have the the gear sale beforehand, right? So it's kind of our little sell all of our extra Rebel stuff from all the different sports, and then over there at the soccer field, we'll go on out there and have our spring showcase, and excited about that, get in front of the fans again. And that'll be at noon for anybody who wants to come and check that out. Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate it as always. Looking forward to the spring game. We're looking forward to seeing you coming on the backside of the break. Coach Menzies rejoins us, and we have the Runnin' Rebel Plays of the Year. Stay with us.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, presented by RC Willie. Your home, your way.
We are wrapping up our final RebZone of the season. Coach, thank you very much for your analysis and honesty throughout the season. We appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure. Always a pleasure to hang out.
Best of luck in the tournament.
Thank
Thursday
you.
At 2:30 against San Diego State. If you want to come out to the Thomas and Mack, it'd be great to see some Rebel Red out there as well. The semifinals are at 6 o'clock. I know you want to see a big crowd out there.
Huge crowd. Not big, huge.
All
We
right.
need them.
That would be impactful. Thank you so much for joining us for this RebZone season. Special thanks to my photographer and right-hand man, Robbie Hunt, for all of his work throughout the year as well. We leave you with the Runnin' Rebel Plays of the Year. Good night.
It might be numbers on the fast break.
Hamilton with the steal, the save.
This is Scotty. Started his spin. Robotham got a hand on it on the break. Sends it back.
Robotham for three. It's good. Oh my goodness!
The Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show was presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.